So let's begin with the introduction. The word entrepreneurship is originally generated from the French word that is called the entrepreneur. So when we talk about the entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship is always belongs to taking from below or undertaking. That means it refers to an ability and the readiness that how a particular individual or a person to develop how they will or how he or she will organize or run a business enterprises along with the covering up all the sort of uncertainties to earn a profit. The most prominent example of the entrepreneurship is to start a new venture or a new business, whether it's belong to the short term, medium, or a long term businesses. So there are plenty of economists who are belong to the banking corporation, who are belong to the financial institutions. So one of the French economists and the banker whose name is Richard Kellington, who 1680 to 1744, he's the one who has the first you can say individual who have introduced the concept of entrepreneurship by investigating, by assessing all those entrepreneurial activities in France during the early 18th century. He also pointed out that the you can see the business owners who pay a particular price for a particular product, how to resell it in the market, and that's a job of the entrepreneur at an uncertain price. And this makes or this sort of activity makes the businesses or the business owners a very different or distinct perspective from other people as well, because they are more interested or more ready to take up a high risk. So if any individual who are taking a high risk and have a different idea from all those enterprises or existing enterprises, so definitely it would do well to earn the profit in the market. There is another Adam Smith, you can say economist in 1776. He's also expanded the concept of the entrepreneurship or the idea of entrepreneurship, which refers an economic definition of this particular term by focusing the entrepreneur as a profit-seeking enterpriser who is always believed to establish with a commercial goal as the one of the main objective of a new business to earn a profit. So definitely a new entrepreneur who will always seek to have a big goals or the financial goals, and ultimately ultimately he or she would define or establish a business with a commercial goal only. And that's what the Adam Smith in 1776 has revealed the basic idea of the entrepreneurship, which has been extended version of the idea of entrepreneurship by the French economist and banker Richard Kellington in 1680. So let's begin with the meaning of entrepreneurship. So when we talk about the economics perspective, entrepreneurship connected the four main sources. The first one is land, labor, natural resources, and fourth one is capital. They are all you can see together used to generate a profit. The entrepreneur version is defined by to discover or to take a risk in an unextinct version so that the nation capacity or a part of the nation capacity would goes to a very successful manner and to become a more and more competitive at a global marketplace. And that's that exact meaning of the entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurship without the four elements of the production function cannot be generate a profit. by him or her. And such vision is always defined to discover and to take more and more risks to achieve a commercial goal, and how they will reach out in a very successful manner, or become a more and more competitive globally. As entrepreneurship can be classified into a small or home or a business or a multinational companies as well. So in economics, whatever the profits earned by the entrepreneur, it's always be earned with with the use of the combination of all four factors of production, namely land, labor, natural resources, and capital. So if anyone who has a will, or always very committed and devoted and determined to start a new venture or a new company or a new business, he or she has to deal with all those business and financial risks and other sort of risks, and to become a successful entrepreneur. So if anyone can become an entrepreneur if or she has a will, have a very determined and committed to start a new business. So definitely he or she will become a successful entrepreneur. Now we come up to a few case studies or an examples that to portray such idea of entrepreneurship. So if we can talk about the Lakshmi Narayan Mittal, who is one. He's the one such entrepreneur who have started, or who is a CEO of Ursula Mittal, world largest a steel making company. And after completing his graduation from Xavier College, he served as a trainee as a steel mill, and then have an idea to open up his own steel plant. And after having so much experience being as a trainee or having an practical aspects, he has planned his own steel plant. And his business vision and philosophy is always focused to consolidate and turn into a weak and fragmented industries. That means he tried or he cope up to take over the weak and fragmented industries and build up a new version of a steel making industry, and that's called the Esler Mittal, which is a steel making company. And he has proved that if anyone has a right blend of grit and determination and have a will to shape up, you can say, a new company by take over the weak and fragmented companies. So definitely the companies could be reshaped and in turn or leads into a profit making companies. Similarly, there is another case we can talk about the Steve Jobs, who is an iconic entrepreneur. With his vision and determination, he built up an Apple computers. And today, if we talk about the present scenario, he's the one of the most admired enterprises in the area of technology and innovation. He always come up with the unique products of apples, where all over the world, the you can see the clients and the people are always admired him in both jobs and you can say in terms of the products. And these two personalities, that is Lakshmi Narayan Mittal and the Steve Jobs, who has always want to become their own boss rather than work for others, and they wanted to pursue their own dreams and reap up the rewards of those dreams as well. And these are called the successful entrepreneurs who have proved that fact, that the right amount of determination, hard work, and the persistence is always permit to open up a small enterprises and ventures to become a successful personalities and the leaders in all over the world. Now we come up to the recent study, which is based on the survey of the top management of the world 350 largest businesses and the World Economic Forum has found that the digitalization and the robotization or the industry version 4.0, which leads to the loss of the 5 million jobs globally by 2020. And of course, if the more and more digitalization come up and the robotization and industry and or it can call an industry 4 version 4.0, then ultimately by 2020 there would be a loss of 5 million jobs globally. So automatically this trend will ultimately affect the jobs at a lower end of the qualifications, which involves a routine type of activities as well. So automatically, when it turns into a losses of jobs to a or you can say millions of people, so of course it is a matter of concern to think and act in an entrepreneurial manner, that just come up, stand and think to open up a new you can see business, a small business, and ultimately the idea of the entrepreneurship will definitely come up into your mind and it becomes successful for the you can say Indian economy. So automatically if the such losses has come up in all over the world, so definitely the idea of entrepreneurship would be the best one to think about it. Now we come up to the another term, the meaning of entrepreneur. So the entrepreneur, it's as ultimately has a drive from a Greek word that is, or the French word that is the entrepreneurial, which is made up of two words, is entry and predatory. Entry it's between, and the predatory means to take. So to take you two or more or between any companies and turn up into a new venture and become to be a successful. So entrepreneur means any person or a group of person who come together to start up a new venture, to take over all those potential losses and risks and have a will to take that risk, and definitely he will become an entrepreneur. So entrepreneur is her or his own boss, and of course it's self-employed and independent. So in India there are plenty of entrepreneurs who has opened up a small businesses and they are running very well, and of course they want to become their own boss rather than work for others. So automatically it assumes that whatever they have an idea to open up a new venture and associate it with their all risk, and ultimately it creates and adds value to the society as well. So entrepreneurship are automatically different from the investors and manager. So entrepreneur is not only bring an idea and passion for build up a new enterprise, but also arranges the funds for the venture. But investor, on the other hand, which always mainly belongs or involves invest money into that new venture or the existing venture. An entrepreneur has a more positive outlook towards the venture as compared to investors, as investors always belong to invest their funds into a particular venture which he or she feels or fits the best soundful investment decision, or to, and in return they will get the huge returns. Now we come up to the next important concept, that is what are the differences between the entrepreneur and manager. So when we talk about the entrepreneur, it refers all those person who want to establish a company or enterprise and take all those financial risks along with it to achieve or to earn a desired profits. When we talk about the manager, these are individuals who are responsible to take up an administration, work and control a group of people, being as a team leader in a company or enterprise. The next basis of a difference is the position in the company. They are the visionaries who convert an idea into a business. So ultimately, their vision is to convert their idea into a business, and they actually become the owners of the company. But managers are the employees of the company, so automatically they work for others. Next one is focus. They focus on the business startups, but manager they focus on ongoing operations of the enterprise or the businesses. Next one is risk. So they bear all financial and other risks as well. And as being as an entrepreneur, he's the one and he is responsible for all those financial and other risks and has a will to bear it all. Manager, they do not bear any risk because they are just an employees who are working for a company. Now we come up to the end focus. Of course, they focus to start the business and expand the company. But in case of the manager, they focus on a daily smooth functioning of all those activities which who are actually responsible for the company. Motivation. Their key motivation is the achievements of the company. Their focus is to earn more and more or to achieve more and more something new for the company, whether to innovate or invent, whether it relate to opening up such venture which is very unique from others or very different from others. So definitely when we talk about in case of manager, their motivation comes from the power that comes with the position. So ultimately the managers believe in a position and they believe that when they have a position, they comes that they have a power with it. Next one is reward. So when we talk about the reward, in case of entrepreneur, their reward is the profit they earn from the company. Next one is their reward is the salary that they draw from the company. So when we talk about the approach, they can be a casual in their role and have an informal approach. They just open up and having a informal or formal communication with their teams, and accordingly they are very casual and work schedules are also very flexible. And ultimately, when they become informal or follow the informal approach, so definitely the more and more team members will more and open up to discuss their ideas, any issues and their actions, and with their ideas and action, that particular concern and issue could be resolved. But when we talk about in case of manager, their approach to every problem is formal and they take a very scientific approach. That means they just coordinate with the members and togetherly they just follow a scientific approach and solve the problems. And it is very in a the way of solving the problem is very in the form follows a very formal approach. Nature of decisions. In case of entrepreneur, they are actually the risk takers. They take calculated risk to drive the company. But when we talk about in case of manager, they are the risk averse. That means they are not a risk taker. Even behind them, there are others who are actually the risk takers for managers. So their job is to maintain a status quotation of the company. So just to maintain the status, to maintain the standards set by the company or for of the company. Next one is decision making. The decision tend to be intuitive, but the decisions are calculated. So they are the ones entrepreneurs who are actually believe in taking up a soundful decisions, and immediately the decision is to be taken for that particular issue and concern. But when we talk about in case of the manager, decisions are calculative and accordingly before after having a problem, you just calculate the issues and how much the issue is to be there, and accordingly the decision could be taken and becomes very calculative, a very you can say not even successful or successful, it depends upon the issues. Next one is specialization. You do not need to be specialized in any particular trade. So it's not necessary to become to have a very expertise or specialized knowledge related to trade. If you have a will and you can do it and start up a new venture, so definitely you will become specialized while doing a business or a new business and deal with the you can say what we call persistence and hard work. But when we talk about in case of manager, they are very trained to perform their task and they are actually specialists in their domain. So definitely in case of entrepreneur, the team, the whole team who work to start up a new venture, but automatically managers who are the actually the employees. So whatever the task they have been given by the company, they are actually the specialized in that particular field or in that particular body of knowledge. The next section is the entrepreneur and intrapreneur. So when we talk about entrepreneur, I already told so many aspects of the entrepreneur, the meaning who is an individual having a will to introduce a new and exclusive idea to establish something new. But entrepreneur is an individual having an entrepreneur skill. They have an entrepreneur skills, but who works at the previously established company, who work for a company, remain in a company and work for them. Motive. Entrepreneur motive is to bring a change to the world. But entrepreneur motive is to grow the business and make it better. So wherever he or she would work, he just grow their businesses and make it more and more better. And that's the motive of the entrepreneur. Next one is nature. Entrepreneurs are innovative in nature. They are more creative, they are more innovative, they are more inventive. But when we talk about the entrepreneur are innovative in nature but less than entrepreneurs because they are specialists. They have a body of knowledge in their domain only, and that's the main reason with their domain they grow the business and make it more better, and that's why they are innovative in their domain but less than the entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs are the, you can say, diversify, having a knowledge of a diversified fields. Risk factor. Entrepreneurs are willing to take more and more financial risk, but entrepreneurs are willing to take risk but less than the entrepreneurs. Goals. Entrepreneurs focus on the long-term goals, or you can say long-term profit. So their long-term focus is to have or to earn a long-term profits in billions or millions. But when we talk about the entrepreneur goals are to get the appraisal, new appraisals, appreciations, and the promotions in their salary packages. When we talk about the next basis, that is competition, entrepreneurs face low competition for their businesses because that is the business that they open up. It's bit different from others. So the less competition would be there in that particular case. But entrepreneur faces a high competition in the market. They faces the more and more because the person who are working in the company, definitely the same products as or the rivals are actually more among or surround them. So definitely he or she or the entrepreneur faces a high competition in the market. Next one is position. Entrepreneur are the founders of a company, but entrepreneur are the employees of the company. As we can say, it is as the managers are also the employee, and of course entrepreneurs are also the employees of the company. Approach to operate. Entrepreneurs operate activities using innovative methods. They put something new and new idea, creative idea to get their work done. But entrepreneurs uses the entrepreneur skills to get their work done or to solve the activities or to work on those activities they are willing to do so. So this is how the entrepreneurs are totally different to each others in all of the parameters and the basis which has been shown on the screen. Now we come up to the theories of entrepreneurship. The first theory is innovation theory of Schumpeter, which has, and he's the one who has implemented this innovation theory in 1949. So the main concept of this theory, it's always focused on the status, it's always focused on work on the standard of the business by innovating a new and new products, a new processes, that how the product is to be prepared and reach out to the end or ending process. And it always work on the organizational improvements, that how they will improve the organizational pattern of work, the recruitment process, and just include all the creative people who always work and follow on new ideas or something exclusive ideas to prepare a products, to prepare a processes, that how they will follow or change the pattern of work exclusively and improve the organizational activities. And this is a way that how they will innovate the whole organizational processes or progress being as an entrepreneurs. Next one is key characteristics of this theory is dynamic in nature. It keeps on changing as the new and new ideas is always come up from their teams, and all together they will take up a sound decision. So definitely with dynamic nature. Innovator, that's true. It always their main focus to innovate new products. So definitely the innovator, which is something new to innovate in the marketplace, and that is the main characteristic of this theory. New combination of production factors, as we can always talk about land, labor, capital, natural resources, and the new factors would be the technology. And when the technology involved, and along with this all four combination of the production, then you can say it becomes the enterprise. So once we and combine all five factors of the production, then it reached or leads to or enter into an enterprise, and that's called one of the main key characteristic of this theory, that is a new combination of production factors. As the type of innovations that this theory belongs to, that is new products, new production methods, opening up a new markets, new source of materials, industry reorganization, as is always talk about organizational improvement, is always talk about the new products. So if we talk about the new product, new production methods, new sources of materials, then it reach to new markets, and ultimately it's called the industry reorganization. The next one is features. So when we talk about the features, it's called the high risk and uncertainty. As every new ventures involves the high risk and uncertainty, and it could happen anytime. You can say any month or any year. Just to track that risk and the uncertainties in a certain manner, so definitely it could reduce, but we cannot neglect that risk and uncertainties. Leadership over ownership. So definitely the leadership role plays a very significant role rather than ownership, because after all, in being as an entrepreneur, you have to be strict and friendly with your team members and accordingly work together, which ultimately leads to something new and achieve, or you can say, or earn a certain amount of revenues, or which could be in millions and billions after a couple of years. And that's why the leadership role is more over the ownership. To discuss more and more products with newly products and open conversation and communication, to listen their own opinion and the views and a creative or new idea, so that they can work and prepare something unique in the marketplace, or and which ultimately adds a advantage, a competitive advantage to the society and to the market, and of course it creates a value to the society. Next one is evaluation. So definitely it's central to the rise of the modern capitalization and economic progress. So definitely this theory is always leads to the economic progress. It always creates a value or rise of value of a modern capitalization, where more and more entrepreneurs would come up and think likely as what Steve Jobs and the Narayana Mittal, Lakshmi Narayana Mittal has did this particular, being as an entrepreneur, did you can say a marvelous job in the streams. The next theory is a Harvard School theory, which was given by the Call in 1949. So the main concept of this theory is a purposeful or profit-oriented and business activities. So basically, this theory belongs to an entrepreneur who have some purpose, who have some vision, who have some belief to work on, and ultimately, when they have some idea or purposefully ideas, so definitely it always, entrepreneurs always focus on that purposefully ideas that leads to a profit oriented goals, and the business activities would be would be expended as more as it's needed for the you can say prominent venture or a new organization. Basically, the main core principle of this particular theory is the purposeful activities, or the purposeful set of activities which always be a huge beneficial to the society and of course to the business. The profit orientation, the as it is being as an entrepreneur, it always focus on the commercial goals. So definitely the profit orientation is always you can say an exclusive what we call a factor. A profit orientation is an exclusive factor for a particular businesses or an organization. The major focus areas in this particular theory is the coordination. So obviously, the coordination, the cooperation are the essential elements which always being focused by the entrepreneur for their new venture or business price or enterprise. So next one is the second one is the sensitivity to the environment. They're very sensitive. So whatever the products they have been want to innovate or want to implement or want to prepare that to be eco-friendly environmental products. So that's why they are very sensitive to the environment. They think about the environment, they focus about the environment, and whatever the new product is to be prepared, is to be come up into a marketplace, then of course it should be an eco-friendly environmental products. So you can look up the sugar product, cosmetic. We can talk about the cosmetic product, a sugar brand where the lipsticks, where the powders, you can say the skin powders would be very, it's made up or considering the eco-friendly environmental products, which is not affected to any of the individuals or the females or the males health or issues, which are ultimately safe for the environment, safe for the well-being of a human beings. Now we come up to the next theory, that is McClelland Achievement Motivation Theory. So the main concept of this theory, where the entrepreneurs is followed by the three motivational needs. Because after all, when any person who have a will want to start a new venture, so of course a motivation factors or needs must be essential for all those entrepreneurs, and that would be the achievement. That definitely, if they want willing to start a new venture, have a will, so definitely they are working towards the achievement of their goals only. Affiliation and the powers. Of course, when you become an entrepreneur, you are the boss of the company, that you come into a power to work with your strong team and just achieve something new, you can say profits for the company. And affiliation, definitely it works together, would be you can say one of the motivation for the entrepreneurs. So motivational needs, there are three needs: the achievement, the affiliation, and the power. The major philosophy, so entrepreneur activities or the skills are very much essential requirement, and that's the main reason of entrepreneur set of activities very crucial, and the particular entrepreneur has to keep in mind that it leads to a economic development, but ultimately influenced by an individual motivational drives, which is called achievement, affiliation, power. Sometimes people, entrepreneurs, take it these three needs in a very positive manner, but sometimes the same entrepreneurs consider these as a negative aspects. So that's the main reason that entrepreneur activities ultimately influenced by an individual motivational drive. So if you are communicating in a team, so definitely the motivational forces or the needs would always come up with different persons or the people, and accordingly you have to consider, and your own motivational needs will also get influenced by an individual motivational opinions, views, and perspective. And that's the philosophy of this theory, that motivation needs is always influenced by the individual motivational drives as well. How to evaluate this theory? So automatically it's all about the entrepreneur motivation. So a particular researcher has a need to cultivate or to evaluate the entrepreneur motivational skills, particularly in the poorer countries, which ultimately you can say degrade the economic development of all those countries. So definitely a motivation, the ultimately the evaluation process, which automatically deals with the motivational drives, with the motivational needs only, and accordingly it will lead to whether to upgrade the economic development or spur the economic development. So this is how this theory belongs to the three main motivational needs, that is achievement, affiliation, and power. And automatically when we talk about the entrepreneur set of activities only leads to economic development. So if you are thinking about the motivational needs rather than working on it, then ultimately it will not lead to economic development. It automatically leads to a degrade economic development. And of course, when we talk about economic development, so definitely it influenced by an individual motivational drives only. So the more and more motivation drive needs would come up, and the motivation factors or opinions which would be given by your team members, so definitely it will reflect the Met Cleland achievement motivation theory. Next one is theory of profits. So these are the four main theories of profit, and what the theory actually reveals for or stands for. The first one is hardly risk bearing theory of profit. So in this particular theory, the profits actually are to be rewarded, but they could be rewarded if the risks are taken in a particular business, because this theory is hardly is always believe in a concept that the higher risk demand the higher profits. So if a particular entrepreneur is more will to take a higher risk, then definitely it would earn a higher profits as well. Next theory of profit is uncertainty theory of profit, and it was implemented by Knight. So profits are the rewards, but automatically a particular entrepreneur has to bear up all the losses and uncertainties rather than insurable risks. So definitely we are talking about profits are actually the rewards for the entrepreneur if they bear up a non-insurable uncertainties. There are plenty of uncertainties, types of the uncertainties which are actually not insured, and rather than such particular theory it's not belong to the insurable risk. They are belong to the profits which are actually the rewards, but if such profits are actually earned bearing up you can say the uncertainty events only. Next one is rent theory of profit, which was given by the Walker. They are saying the profits are akin to rent. Profits are very similar to the rent, where the more and more entrepreneurial skills actually needed, which always helps to earn the higher returns as a particular entrepreneur, or just like the superior grades of land. So automatically Walker always focus on the entrepreneur skills which would be used or helpful or beneficial to earn the higher returns only, or you can say and they are also talking about the profits which are very close to rent, as the rent is always being given by the tenants to the owners, because owners have a will and show up their entrepreneur skills so that they can take that particular land or plot or a flat on rent. So definitely it's talking about the rent theory of profits, that profits is always belong to rent if a superior or extreme entrepreneurial skills are being used and ultimately yield the higher returns. Next one is dynamic theory of profit. So the profits increase only if there is a changes in the economies, and when the changes exist in the technological advancement and the demographic profiles. So automatically when we talk about the profits, so automatically profits keeps on changing and it always undergoing changes due to a technological advancement and the demographic profiles. Like it could be the occupation, it could be the education, it could be the age. So accordingly these factors which also influence, and accordingly the profit would also keeps changes if there is any changes in its nature or any undergoing changes exists, like technology, the products, the you can say any innovations advancement is to be done, or any demographic shifts is also good. And for example the product is made according to the age, so definitely it's a demographic shifts before you come up to the males and to come before you make a product for the males, and suddenly after some time now you are preparing the products for the females. So that is called the demographic shifts. Now we come up to the next theory, that is called the theory of adjustment of price by Kingsner. So when we talk about this theory, it always talk about the market inefficiency. It's always talk about how they will capture the profits through these market inefficiencies, how they will capture the profit by making up the market adjustments. So the main concept of this theory where the entrepreneur has to adjust its prices so that they can modify or you can say reduce the market inefficiency, and accordingly they will earn the profits through these adjustments as they have done through the process of modifying the prices. So this is how this theory states for that obviously entrepreneur has to adjust their prices when there is any adjustments needed into a market, and accordingly the profits could be earned through these adjustments only. Entrepreneur functions, so automatically it is alertness to market disequilibrium where the demand and supply will not equal to each other, and when they are not equal to each other then entrepreneurs has to adjust their prices due to reduce such inefficiencies. And that's the main reason, the one of the main function of the entrepreneur under this theory is to adjust the prices, is to modify the prices so that declines some such market you can say inefficiencies in it. The key role of such the key role of the cringer on such theory is to ensure that the market efficiency would exist and capitalize the equal opportunities through applying or using up a strategic prices to applying different price strategies as well. So automatically, when any entrepreneur capitalized an opportunities, it should be through or when there is prices or any adjustment in prices needed, and it could be through the strategic prices changes as well. And this is what theories called for. Change the prices or adjust the prices according to the market scenarios. It could be inefficiencies, it could be deflation, it could be inflation. So any scenarios would also exist in the market, and accordingly it will entrepreneur has to adjust the prices according to the situations and circumstances which involve in the marketplace. Now we come up to the types of entrepreneurship. The first one is small business entrepreneurship. These business are basically exist on a very short period, or such businesses could be work out by hiring up their family members or the local employees, and you can see these small business entrepreneurship in your local areas, in your neighborhood, or in the shopping and outside the shopping complexes or outside the shopping mall. If you go for a shopping mall, you can see there are small street, you can say huts is already exist, and they are selling their own handicraft products and cosmetic products. So what's this called? It's called the small business entrepreneurship. It's a hairdresser, grocery store, travel agent, consultant, carpenter, plumber, electrician, and etc. These people run their own businesses, and for them, the profit, whatever the profit they earn, they are actually used to feed their family members. So, not making 100 million businesses or taking over the industry, they fund their business by taking small family loans or loans from their friends and family. So if they want to start up their new business, small business, they just take their loans rather than go to the banks. They just take their loans from the friends and family and start up a small business. And whatever the earnings to be earned, they just repay that small amount to their friends and families. And of course, and the rest of the balance would be used to feed their family. And such businesses is called the small business entrepreneurship. Next one is scalable startup entrepreneurship. The startup entrepreneur starts a business knowing their vision can change the world. So this type of entrepreneurship is mainly belong something new or something unique which can change the world. So they attract the investors, which is who think and encourage people who think out of the box. So who think out of the or something invest on a unique. So of course a research or development process which always goes on this particular type of entrepreneurship, and which is always an experimental models or the business model is to be used, and it always hire the brightest or the best employees only, because after all they work for the best for the businesses only. So they require the more and more venture capital to fuel up and back their projects or businesses, and that's called the scalable startup entrepreneurship. Next one is large company entrepreneurship. These huge companies is define the life cycle where the particular companies grow and sustain, offering a new innovative products and of course resolve around their main products only. And why rather than going up to a new products, they remain on their ongoing products only because of the change of technology. Customer preferences also change. New competition arrives, which always build up or increase the pressure for the large companies to create an innovative product, and that's called a large company entrepreneurship. So automatically when there is a need to cope up with the rapid technological changes, the existing organizations either buying an innovation enterprises or an attempt to construct the product internally, and that's called when they are actually work such organization work on it for a long purposes, that's become a large company entrepreneurship. Next one is social entrepreneurship, where anything is to be built up is just for the welfare of the society. It's not making any profits at all. So this type of entrepreneurship is mainly focused on producing all those products and services that actually resolve the society needs and problems. So their motive is to work for the society, think about the society, and construct such society where the profits has no role in it. And that's become a social entrepreneurship. Next one is international entrepreneurship. In international entrepreneurship, where the entrepreneurs carried out the business operation outside the borders of India, who are working, being as an entrepreneur who are abroad, who are actually working, being as an entrepreneur outside the country. So it always includes setting up a new sales unit overseas or export their goods from one host country to another. So international entrepreneurship is profitable because of the currencies that involved between the two countries like US India or UK and India. So international entrepreneurship is very profitable when local demand of goods and services is declining and demand in the world is actually increasing. So the entrepreneurs are actually well mature enough to explore their overseas markets, their newly products in the overseas market to earn more and more profits rather than in their home territories. Next one is environmental entrepreneurship. This form of entrepreneurship is also known as the ecopreneurship or greenpreneurship, where their main task is to sell their products, which should be an eco-friendly or environmental conscious products, and they work to supply the existing product and services with the environment friendly alternatives only. So entrepreneurs just put up you can say practices, you can say the alternatives while making up a profit from their business activities, and their main focus is to on environment. Their existing products should be the environmental conscious only, which is not harmful for the people or the society. Next one is technopreneurship, where we can also talk about, in other words, is technology entrepreneurship. A technopreneur built a company which is totally dependent on the innovative use of technologies, where the efficient use of its technical expertise in their own business ventures, and the businessmen who are belong to or always have an ability to change the market and offer the clients into a cutting edge solution just because of the technological usage, and that's become a technopreneurship. So the backbone of the products using of the technologies, it's being provided by the corporation, you can say, and that's become technology. So technology companies prefer to employ innovative and tech-savvy employees who are actually eager to explore the technological advancement to offer a unique products, to offer the unique solution to their clients and customers. Next one is imitative entrepreneurship. This type of entrepreneurship is mimicry or imitating any pre-existing business concept and copying the same concept currently available goods and services. So they are using the previous concept and turn into a new concept and launch into a market, and that's become imitative entrepreneurship. And these companies is always operate on a franchise contract. There is a one, you can say, we can talk about, it's 24/7 shop, and now it relaunched into a new version name, new name version, that is called a new shop. So new shop is also called imitative entrepreneurship, where the particular investors or the businessman take a franchisee of such name and open up such businesses in a separate place or in a shopping complex, etc., and etc. So imitative businesses frequently make an effort to modify the current products and services and technologies so that they should be suitable for the local requirements. So the best examples are the fast food restaurants. So if you are taking any franchisee of the fast food restaurant, it becomes imitative entrepreneurship. Next one is cyber entrepreneurship. So cyber entrepreneurs are those who exploit the advantages of information technology to run a business. They actually do a business where to remove or to where the exploitation of the online crimes or the frauds is just try to reduce or to remove them. Such entrepreneurship is called cyber entrepreneurship. They create original concepts for supplying goods and services to the customers through the online platforms like OTT platforms, over the top entertainment services where the original content, original stories which always come up to their customers through the entertainment services, online entertainment services where the business operate online, which is also called the virtual businesses. And cyberpreneurship includes online retail and over-the-top entertainment services. And the individuals who are working on it are well informed about the digital and the virtual environment and provide their goods and services through the online platforms to avoid the inconvenience which are actually facing in a online or in a offline or a physical stores. So that is such entrepreneurship is referred to as cyber entrepreneurships. That's it for today. Thank you for listening this lecture. So I'm coming up to the more and more relevant and important topics in the upcoming session. Till time, thank you and namaste to all.